Hi, my name is Miss Christy. I'm a teaching artist in the PACE program. We integrate art lessons into the school curriculum. Our lessons that we're posting on our Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel are for kindergarten, first, and second grade, but anyone is welcome to do them. Today we're going to be talking about rockets, and we're going to make a rocket. You can turn this rocket into a mobile by attaching a string, or it can just be a toy. We're going to use a toilet paper roll to make the rocket. We're going to create a cone at the top, and we're going to create some flames underneath. We'll also have the fins on the bottom. So we're going to be starting with just decorating our toilet paper roll. I'm going to use markers. So you go ahead and draw or write anything you want on the side of your rocket. And anytime that you need to press pause and work on your project and then press play again, please do so. So I am going to do my rocket red, white, and blue. You can use any colors you want. So I'm going to go ahead and use my black marker to draw in some stars. And I'm going to work in the middle because we're going to be adding things to the top and bottom. I'm going to go all the way around with just a few stars. So you go ahead and press pause and draw on your rocket, color it as much as you want, and then press play. So I've created a pattern on my rocket. You can see that I did blue diamonds in between red stripes and blue stars. So it's a good idea to create a pattern because it makes it more interesting. The materials that you're going to need for this project, other than the markers and a toilet paper roll, will be scissors, tape, glue, a pencil, and something to draw a large circle. I have here the lid of a water pitcher, and I measured it, and it's about 5 inches. So this size circle creates the right size for this rocket. It would be the same if you were using a paper towel roll, which would make an even better rocket. You'll also need some liquid glue. In some projects, a glue stick is fine, but in this project, you'll need liquid glue to make sure the top of your rocket stays on. We're going to be creating some small tabs, like I did here. We're going to create this to put our tiny little glue dots on each one of these tabs. Now remember, the liquid glue makes a big mess. So try to use tiny little glue dots. If you need help from a grown-up in any part of this project, please ask for help. I've marked my scissors with a small line with my black marker to show how far you need to cut for your glue tabs. You're going to cut the top of your rocket. So you're only going to cut a very small amount. You're going to hold it to where you can see the top, and you're going to make a small little cut, just like that. And you're going to be able to see with this line on the scissors how far to cut. And you'll just keep cutting around, turning and turning the toilet paper roll until you've gone all the way around. Can you see that? So I'm not going past the little line that I created. And what this does is it will be able to open up the top of our rocket. So you're going to pull back each one of these tabs. You can see they're all cut about the same length. And if they're not cut the same length, that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to press it down on the table and make sure it's not wobbly. You can see that maybe on this side I cut these too short, so I'm just going to peel these back just a little bit more. Sometimes where the glue, when they put this tube together, it makes it a little difficult to cut. Like right there, it's a little stiff from the glue that was used to make this. Now it almost sits flat. So I'm just going to keep pushing these little tabs down, pinching them down until you can see that they're starting to flatten out. And again, this is where we're going to put the glue. Before we do that, we need to create our cone for the top. So I've chosen blue to be the top of my rocket. And I have a blue sheet of construction paper. I'm going to use this as a template, and I'm going to draw a circle using my pencil. So you're just going to hold this very firmly so that it doesn't move, and you're going to go all the way around. I suggest putting it in one of the corners so that it'll be easier to cut out. And make sure you can see those pencil marks. When you're cutting something out, you want to get rid of the large piece of paper around it. So remember, hold your scissors thumbs up and cut the big square around your circle first. And that way you don't have a big heavy piece of paper hanging off. Now you're going to follow this circle very carefully so that your cone will come out to looking like the top of a rocket. So just follow the circle, turning the circle around as you go. So I'm going to change where I'm holding it. This is the hardest part of cutting right here, this floppy piece of paper. So you just want to hold it steady and turn while you're cutting. Hungry, hungry alligator scissors. Chomp, chomp, chomp. You're just going to go all the way around. There's my circle. The next step is you're going to be cutting out part of this as if you were cutting out a piece of pie. So go ahead and hold the circle up, and you're going to cut once just to the center. I only went to the very middle. Now you're going to turn your circle to where that line that you cut goes to the side, and you're going to cut it out like a big piece of pie or pizza, like a pizza slice. So if you know who Pac-Man is, doesn't it look like Pac-Man? So the way you make a cone for the tip of your rocket is you're going to fold this around. So what this is kind of a twist. It's a twisting motion. Can you see that? So whenever you twist it, I'm going to show it to you this way, but then I'm also going to show you the inside. So you're twisting it together, and it's creating a cone. And this cone is going to fit on top of your rocket. Just like that. Now, you can see that it's a little too big, like this. So, before you tape it or glue it, I want you to twist it around until it seems like it's the right size. You can hold it in your hand like a little cup, like this, and twist it around. Did you see that? It's almost like a little paper drinking cup. You'll also have a hole in the bottom, and that's okay. You can actually put a string in there when we're all done. So I'm going to unfold it again just so you can see that twisting motion again. You're going to twist it, and you're going to just hold it and test it out with your cylinder. The body of the rocket is a cylinder, And that's where they keep the fuel to power the rockets. So before you tape it, you would, or glue it, you would make a little mark for how far you want it to go. So I'll put a little pencil mark there, and that tells me that I'm going to put my glue just right here, just a little bit. You don't need a lot. And you're going to twist it back around the same way you did before and put it where that line that you drew is. And now you can put a piece of tape just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. All right. Now, to apply the glue, make sure that you're doing tiny little glue dots all the way around. So I have my cone, and I'm going to just place it down on the cylinder where the glue tabs are. And if you hold it there for just a minute or two, you can also check to make sure that it's straight up and down. If you feel like it's too big, you can cut some of it off. See how it wants to come up really easily? You just want to hold it there for just a little bit. You can even sing a song. You can sing your ABCs while you hold it, and it'll probably be ready by the time you're done. So I counted to 20, and now I'm going to lift it, my hands up, and there it is. It's glued on. If you need to hold it on for a little longer, you can also hold it in your hand like a cup and press down. Just like that. Alright, so the next step is to make the fins for our rocket. Now we're going to create 2 triangles. I have here a piece of red. It's a half a sheet of construction paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a square. So that means I'm going to be cutting off just a little bit because right now it's a rectangle and I need it to be a square. So this is much closer to a square. And now I'm going to cut corner to corner. Not up the middle, but here to here. You watch me first and then you try. Corner to corner. So 2 triangles come from 1 square, and they're the same size, and that's what you want to try to get, is 2 triangles the same size. Now these are a bit too big, so I'm actually going to cut this in half again. But I'm going to start here at the bottom of my triangle and go up to the top. There. Now I have 4 triangles. I'm going to put 2 aside. These 2 are going to be the ones for my fins for my rocket. We're going to be cutting into these to put them together. One will be cut from the top down to the middle, and the other will be cut from the bottom to the middle. So watch me first and then you try. 1 snip. The length of short scissors like this is all you need to do. You don't want to go all the way to the top because then it'll make 2 new triangles. So we have our triangle that's cut from the bottom. Now we're going to cut a triangle from the top. Flip it over till it looks like an arrow pointing downward. You're going to cut the full length of your school scissors to the middle. There. So there you have 2 slits in each of the triangles that will fit together. So the one that has the cut from the bottom is going to fit over the one that has the cut from the top. And you'll see that the two slide together to create the fins for your rocket. Can you see that? So if you set them down, they should stand up. Step to be able to attach those fins is to cut the bottom of your rocket. You're going to do that the same way that you did the fins. You're going to cut the full length of your scissors, and you're going to do that on 4 sides. So there's a bit of glue here from where the toilet paper was originally attached, and I'm going to start there just so that I have the first cut that I can see clearly. See that? Now I'm going to hold it to where that's at the top, and I'm going to go directly underneath to the bottom, and I'm going to cut that the full length of my scissors. Now we need to do the 2 sides. So turn it to where each cut that you've already made is side to side, and you're going to cut at the top, and you're going to cut at the bottom. That way it's even all the way around. You have a slit here, 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 and here for your fins. And you can kind of bend it a little bit just to see what I'm talking about. This is where to attach it is a little bit tricky. You're going to hold the rocket in one hand and the fins at the bottom as if that were the feet in the other. So you can see I'm holding it to where it's open and where it almost looks like it's making an X. And then you're going to try sliding the rocket over, and maybe you'll need help from a grown-up, but you're going to try to get those fins to slide up into each one of those places for it to fit. Now, you can leave it like this. Alright, so it stands up on its own. And I'm thinking that I want to decorate my fins. So the good thing about this is that they're not glued in. You can always take them off and draw on them. So I think I'm going to draw some little stars, little blue stars on my fins. Do you know how to draw a star? And it's a good idea to create patterns on your rocket. I wanted to talk to you also about how rockets reach outer space. Does anybody know how rockets reach outer space? Well, it's rocket science. And we use fuel to power the rockets. You can see in these pictures that there are flames coming out of the bottom of the rocket. And they use a special kind of fuel to power the rockets. And what they're trying to do is get something that's called lift. They're trying to lift something like a heavy rocket into the air all the way through the Earth's atmosphere until it gets to outer space. There's a principle called Newton's third law, and it goes like this. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So as the fuel is being fired underneath the rocket, it's so powerful that it pushes the rocket into the air. And as the fuel is being burned, the rocket is getting lighter and lighter because there's less and less fuel. So as that fuel is continuing to burn, it's continuing to lift that rocket all the way out of the Earth's atmosphere. it takes a lot of fuel to do this because the Earth's atmosphere has air and it has moisture. And so that actually creates what they call drag against the rocket. The Earth has powerful gravity, and so it's pulling everything down towards the Earth every second of every day. And I've got my fins back onto my rocket. I want to show you what you can do if you're like, well, I really don't want my rocket to sit up this high. I want it to sit lower. You can keep your two triangles together and just simply cut a little bit off the top. Not too much, because they're going to end up cutting off the tip of the one that's cut from the bottom. So I cut a little tiny bit off of the top, and I'm going to slide that back on just so you can see that again. It takes a little bit of trying. You have to look all the way around on every side as it goes. So now it's a little bit shorter. But say you want it to be just there at the bottom of your rocket. What you're going to do is you're going to cut these lines a little bit longer. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more. And let's try that again. There we go. Front, back, side to side. There it is. Make sure it's sitting straight. There's my rocket. So, the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some flames underneath. So I have here 3 different colors of construction paper. They're called warm colors. Red, yellow, and orange are the 3 warm colors. And 2 of these are primary colors. Do you know which ones those are? If you said red and yellow, you're right, because red and yellow together make orange. So orange is the secondary color. All right. The way that you make flames is you're just going to cut some small strips of paper. They don't have to be any kind of shape. You can make them wavy shapes. You can make them straight. You can make them curved. And I'm going to do that with all 3 colors. I'm just going to cut some little shapes, some little strips of paper to create my flames coming out of the rocket. Orange. Remember, thumbs up when you're cutting with scissors. And you can pretend like it's a hungry, hungry alligator. Okay. Now, instead of trying to glue every single one of these little pieces of paper, I'm going to use one of my extra triangles and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. I wanted to also tell you that if you feel like you messed up on any part of your rocket, just use the pieces that you didn't use to remake it. Remember, anytime during this video, if you need to pause, go ahead and then just press play and we'll get to the next part of our project. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of glue down on this piece of paper. I'm going to hold my rocket upside down and I'm going to be putting my flames, I'm going to dip the flame in the glue and just touch it on the inside. working. Another thing you can do is you can put your flame, strips of paper for your flame in there, and use a pencil or your scissors just to kind of press it down so that it'll stick. And wherever you may have missed some yellow, make sure you put in that yellow because it really brightens up the flames. You can see in these pictures how bright the flames are. And the kind of fuel that some rockets use is called liquid hydrogen. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a string coming out of the top so you can hang your rocket in your room. So if you want your rocket to sit on a table, you can just pull the flames outward towards you a little bit on each side. I have a piece of ribbon here that I'm going to use to hang my rocket in my daughter's bedroom. So you'll find a piece of ribbon like this, or you can use string, and you'll put the string down through the top of the rocket. So if you don't have a hole, you can take your pencil and poke very gently through the top of your rocket and create a hole. Then take the ribbon and run it in and just keep feeding it into the tip of the rocket until it comes out the bottom. If it doesn't come out the bottom, you might be able to grab it if you can see it. Yep, there it is. So you're going to pull the string all the way through, being careful not to pull it through at the top. You want to have a long enough string, probably about 24 inches or so. And then you're going to tie a triple knot in the end that's coming out of the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'll make a loop, and then I'll put the end of the ribbon through the loop and pull. And then I'm going to try to do that in the same place. I'm going to loop it again and pull it to the same place. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a big enough knot here so that it won't pass through that hole. And I think I did. But I'm going to tie it one more time. So put a loop, go through the loop with the end, and pull. That knot's big enough. And now I'm going to pull it back into my rocket, and there it is. There's my rocket. Now you can hang this up in your room, or you can fly it around. Thank you for joining me for this lesson on rockets. At the end of this video, there's a little bonus for you. That was my kids' idea. We will be posting a new lesson each weekday at 10 a.m. on the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel. These lessons are also aired on the Acadiana Open channel. That's Cox channel 16 and LUS channel 4. The kindergarten lesson will air at 8 a.m. and the first and second grade lesson will be aired at 9 a.m. All of our lessons are visual arts and creative movement. If you are interested in supporting programs like this, please go to our website, the Acadiana Center for the Arts.org, the nonprofit organization that manages the PACE program. Spread the word. Share these projects with your friends. I know that in the classroom we have a lot of fun doing these projects. Private lessons, you can contact me at lushceramics.com. That's LUSHCERAMICS.com. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hi everyone, these are my kids.
Hello. Hi. And they're going to be making some straw rockets.
Strockets!
All right, woohoo! The first thing we're going to do is roll our 2-inch wide piece of paper around our pencil. So go ahead, guys. The hard part is tucking it in around the pencil. You want to get all sides, so the front and the back, the top and the bottom, and roll it up. And once you get it rolled around the pencil, then you're going to use your pieces of tape and tape it on.
Oops.
And once you roll it once, it helps because the paper is curled. There you go. And if you're having trouble holding on to it, a grown-up can hold it. So I'll hold it for you if you want to grab the pieces of tape. There you go. And put about 2 or 3 pieces of tape. Remember, the more tape you put, the heavier it'll be, and it won't fly as far. And once you get that, you're gonna put keep your pencil inside of it, and then you're gonna twist the end that's gonna be the nose of your rocket. So find where the pencil tip is and the eraser end is, and hold it steady, and then just twist. Try not to tear it, because you don't want to put any holes in it.
Points.
All right. After you do that, you're going to make the fins. So go ahead and put the body of your rocket aside and find a square piece of paper about this size. So can you go ahead and show us how to create 2 triangles out of a square?
Sure. Sure. Magic. So this is how you do it. You start from the point and then you cut straight and then get to the point across from it. And then you cut it again and you get your fins. But if you want to make them smaller than this, and you can cut them again.
All right. Thank you.
Strockets.
So now you'll
Awesome.
use pieces of tape, and you're going to hold your fin to where you're holding the part that's diagonal in your thumb in your left hand that's diagonal, and then put the tape on the flat side and make sure that there's a flat side at the bottom, and you're going to attach it to the bottom of your rocket. If you do it upside down, it'll create more resistance and it'll slow your rocket down. So they're taping their fins on the bottom.
This is all sorts of awesome. This?
Mm-hmm. You want to make sure the flat side is on the rocket and the diagonal side is going away from the rocket.
I cut it too
And it
long.
makes it aerodynamic.
What does aerodynamic mean?
It means that the air can flow easily around the rocket. So you have to make sure that, there you go. So if you do your fins like this, that means it's not aerodynamic because the air will flow and hit the end of your fin and it'll slow it down. So if you flip your fin over, then the air will flow across your fin and it'll make it aerodynamic.
Oh.
So once you get your fins on, You'll find your straw and put the rocket on the straw and blow air really hard and shoot.
Whee! Okay, this was awesome!